Welcome to RPG Book Club Christmas. Instead of our regularly scheduled game, here we are instead going to play some Christmas cheer. My name is Sam Allman.
I'm Santa, who, if you've watched Fox News, is now gender non-binary, and they're very mad about it. Did you hear about that shit?
No, I didn't, but that's amazing.
It's one of those things where it's like, I've never heard a single person actually say that Santa is gender non-binary, but somehow Fox News thinks that that's what people are saying. You know what I mean?
That's so great. I love it.
And of course, now people are like, okay, fine, if you say so. Anyway,
thanks for the idea.
Mad. Yeah, great idea, guys. I'm Maddy Webb, and as usual, and welcome to a very special episode.
Yeah, today's episode is going to be really short because this game was not very story heavy, but it was the only game that comes up when you search Christmas JRPG on Steam.
Yeah, it's basically horseshit that there are not more holiday-themed video games. There are a couple more here and there. If you're like me and insist that every Harry Potter movie / book is a Christmas movie / book, then I think that I think that Earthbound would also qualify.
Yeah.
That should be rectified. Actually, Sam, fun fact. Did you know that me and Bernard, my creative partner who made the Dinosaurs in Pakistan, the video game that one day we might actually do a recording of, we thought of doing a Christmas episode of it, basically.
That'd be amazing.
Like when we re-release it, we might do like a really short, like single chapter. Like we're kind of inspired by Nights into Dreams. How Nights into Dreams had a sequel, quote unquote, called Christmas Nights into Dreams, and it was just a single level, and it was sort of like what you would call on the PC an expansion pack, but it wasn't, because it was on the Sega Saturn. So it was like a standalone single level like Christmas episode. And anyway, we thought of doing that for our own game. So anyway, I'm going to rectify it because Christmas owns, and we need more Christmas games.
Yes. Before we dive in, the game's called Sugy the Christmas Elf, by the way.
Yeah, it's Sugy. I don't know how to pronounce it. People have been saying Sugy. Okay, so the person who made this is like German or something like that. Yeah. To me, it looks like Sugi, and it makes me think of Koichi Sugiyama. So I'm just imagining that the extremely old and extremely racist nationalist, but also extremely talented composer of the Dragon Quest franchise is the main character as a child.
Yeah, he grew up on the North Pole. It all checks out.
That explains why his politics are so bad.
Yeah,
he's out of touch.
Yeah, but before we get started, what was the best Christmas present you've ever gotten?
Oh, shit. Way to put me on the spot, asshole.
Also, who is it from? So I can make sure to tag them in this video so that everyone else feels bad.
That's quite interesting. Best gift I've ever received. My parents one year got me a pretty sweet, a pretty nice Yamaha synth keyboard.
Nice.
And they did a very good job of tricking me because they knew I wanted a keyboard, and I was playing keyboard for church, and my dad was like, "Hey, we're thinking of getting a new keyboard for the church. You'll be one of the people who's playing it, so what sort of keyboard would you want?" And it totally tricked me. It was a Christmas present. Anyway, and then on Christmas, I thought I'd already opened up my presents, and then they brought out the keyboard. It was great.
That's awesome.
My ex got me tickets to... Okay, this is the best one, because it's the only time I ever cried on a Christmas gift. My ex got me tickets to go see... this was 2 years ago, Christmas 2016. Tickets to go see Brian Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really sweet. They got me 2 tickets, and it was like sweet and not sweet at the same time, because it was 2 tickets, and they were like, they're not really a big fan of the Beach Boys or Brian Wilson. So the tickets were for a show in like June, and he was doing his Pet Sounds tour. And tickets pretty expensive. And they said, "I got you 2 tickets, and if you want to, you can take Harrison instead of me." Which, on one hand, you can think of it as like, wow, way to not want to do something fun with your partner because you're not into it. But on the other hand, it was like, no, like, you're being honest. You're not into it. My best friend Harrison would love to go, and I'll probably have a better time going with him than with you. So it was really sweet, and I was crying a little bit, and I was hoping that nobody noticed. Not because I'm against crying or anything. I just thought it was a little bit of a silly thing to cry about. So that's probably the one. What about you?
Yeah. So
do not tag them.
I won't.
I know.
But I think the best present I ever received would probably be the year my dad came back from China, and he got me a Wii and a DS Lite, both of which were in their release year that year.
Oh,
and
damn!
Could not be on the shelves because he walks into Best Buy and he was like, "Y'all have any Wiis?" And they're like, "No, we're all sold out." He's like, "What about that one right here on this table?" And she's like, "Oh, it's just a display box." And he goes, "It's heavy." And she goes, "Wait, did they not empty the display box?" And sure enough, there's a Wii in it, so he got to buy it.
That's incredible. I'm going to learn that trick. You never know. Someone might be stupid and not take this thing out of the display box.
Yeah, it was great. So, because like, as you well remember, the Wii was impossible to find for like the first 4 years of its development cycle. And I got one like a month after it was out and got Twilight Princess for it, and everything was great. But I have two funny-ish, like, in retrospect, Christmas presents. So, one year, I got Toy Story 2 for the N64 from my aunt because I had asked for a bunch of different video games. Then my uncle got me, the Fisher-Price Little People?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he got me some Christmas playset of Fisher-Price Little People, which are for like 3-year-olds and not like that a game on the N64 was like in 99, 2000. I would have been 10 years old. I would not have been playing with little people. He literally had no idea how old I was or anything that I liked or anything like that. He just kind of phoned in that present. The chimney in the set fit over my wrist and it became a Mega Man Buster gun, and I remember loving it, but like things were tense that Christmas and I didn't remember why, and it's probably like because just my uncle didn't even care about my whole family and all that jazz, but whatever. I had Toy Story. That's all I needed. But the other one, so we all sit down for Christmas, and my at my Meemaw's side for the extended family Christmas, and my cousins open like 15 gifts each, and like we're always sitting there waiting for like mine and Tina's gifts to come. And so like my brothers are opening it, my cousins are opening it, my mom and dad are opening gifts, and we're just like, what the heck? And so then finally me and Tina get a card, and all the card says was, "Have fun on your band trip." And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just get a printed out card that says "Have fun on your band trip," and everybody got all this other stuff. Our band trip cost $900 each, and my grandmother's paid for completely out of pocket for both me and my sister. And so it was a huge deal. This was a band trip down to like Orlando and all of this stuff. It was this giant, much to do hullabaloo that they paid for, and it was an extravagant present. But like in the moment, I just felt like I was short shrifted, and everyone was like, your grandmother did a great thing for you today, and you should show some appreciation. I was like, she printed out a freaking card. Like, what even is this? And so then like it was like a week later when I realized, oh, she paid for it. Okay, I get it. That's really important. Funny. But yeah, those are two meant much different in the moment than I thought they did. Stories.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and plug the Christmas present I'm giving this year. My family, you already know what it is, Sam. Mm-hmm. My family basically begged me not to get anybody presents this year. They're literally like, please, you're so broke. Please. And I'm like, but I love giving gifts. And they're like, no, do not give any fucking gifts. So finally I was like, okay, fine, I won't give it. My sister was like, dude, you literally had to borrow some money from your brother. Do not spend the money that isn't even yours on Christmas gifts. And I was like, that's a fair point. So great. I decided not to, but I said, okay, fine, I won't get any gifts. And then I texted again and I said, unless I see something really good. But no, I am going to give them a Christmas gift. Those on the Discord know that I've been working on a little bit of a Christmas playlist. Well, let's just say that project has gotten entirely out of hand. It has become a huge freaking ordeal. I'm moving it off of Spotify so that now I can put anything on it, not just things on Spotify, but anything that I can like pirate or whatever. So I'm downloading some music, not all piracy. I'm buying some stuff off of Bandcamp. It's getting spicier and spicier. It may or may not have the literal Nicene Creed in it. It may or may not have a song by trans punk rock band Gloss about Black Lives Matter. It also may or may not have a chapter from the Communist Manifesto. It's a very spicy Christmas album, is all I'm saying. I'm probably going to take out the Communist Manifesto, not because I don't like it being there, but because I couldn't really find a good place for it. It's gonna be lit, and I'm gonna actually I'm gonna burn it onto blank CDs and maybe print out like some liner notes or something. I wish I'd had this idea a week or two ago because I could have gone more all out on it, maybe applied a little bit of graphic design or something, but that's not going to happen. So it's just going to be some printed out liner notes. I'll also put it on like a big Google Drive and send it to my brother who will not be home for Christmas. Yeah, it's. I think it's really cool. Probably the most interesting. I've always envied people who can make Christmas presents, like they have crafty skills, because I don't have crafty skills.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's so much sweeter to like do something homemade than buy a present. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have skills. And now I do. I have a playlist making skills. So there you go. Yay. Yeah. So, the reason I mentioned that is because I will also be uploading that Google Drive folder to the internet, and we'll send it to everyone in the Discord. I'm not going to share it with everybody. I don't want it to be public. I want it to be special. Yeah. But I will share it with a number of people, including anybody on our Discord.
Yay! So come join our Discord and listen to some
anticipate
bomb-ass Christmas. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started on this game.
Luigi Shugiyama.
This game is going to be light on the plot section and heavy on the memorable moment section because there are a lot of good lines, but like no plot.
So a little bit of a disclaimer. This is this is the second game we've done so far that is a very, very, very indie affair. Made by like one or two people, and like the last time we did this with what was that game called?
Eternal Cinia.
Eternal Cinia. That game kicked ass. Like Eternal Cinia, it is made by a non-native English speaker, and translated from the German into the English, presumably by the creator or somebody maybe closely associated with them. And like that game, the English is not the best, but because this is a single sweet hobbyist person and not a large corporation, obviously we're not going to be like dunking on it or anything. And in fact, I'd say it's about as good as Legend of Dragoon. And like Legend of Dragoon, the grammar is often a source of humor. So if I laugh at any of the lines because of the bad grammar, I'm not trying to make fun. It's just that, as we've seen on Twitter, like misspelling and misgrammar is funny.
Yeah.
Even when it's done on purpose. It's not making fun. It's just like, no, it's just funny. It makes me laugh when the words are used that way. So just want to put that out there.
For sure. So the game starts in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Same.
It's all dark, and the first thing is that you see are like snowmen in like SWAT team formations that are just like, everybody get down, let's break into this house or whatever. And so there's some
Sir, I have ascertained the bogey.
And it's great. So they're attacking this cabin in a snowy field on presumably the North Pole because there are 8 reindeer outside of it. And they take those 8 reindeer as hostages, and they say that Operation Eternal Winter is a go. So then the next day we meet Sugy, who's an elf, but he's not allowed to work in the factory since the ... incident. And so somebody has dumped a bunch of coal in front of his house for him to wrap for the naughty children. And Shugi's like, why doesn't Santa just put it in his stockings? And the person there is like, oh, you haven't heard? Then let's go to the council. Something terrible has happened. And we're like, ooh, what could possibly happen to mess up Christmas and make Santa not go deliver coal to the bad kids. So you then get to control Sugy, and you do it by clicking around instead of with the arrow keys, which is interesting for a RPG Maker because like you have to program that, and so like you don't you can't just do that by default, which is
really?
wild.
Okay,
yeah, like maybe there's something on like a newer version or whatever, but like it didn't. The version he's using looks like the Eternal Senia one, which you can't use mouse control.
Quick question: have you played have you played To the Moon?
I have not. I really want to.
It owns. Oh, actually, that's a great pod game. To
the
Moon also
it's on my short list.
To the Moon. I can't remember if To the Moon is RPG Maker or not. Is why I'm mentioning it, because it also has that control scheme where you click to move, but it also, it's weird. That's like the default. But then it's like, oh, if you want to, you can just use normal controls, and I'm like, of course I'm going to use fucking normal controls. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why would you think this is better? Whatever.
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah. So you click around and you follow all the way to go see Santa, and he says that all of the reindeer have disappeared except for Rudolph, who was getting his shoes fixed at a blacksmith at the time. Thankfully, it's in the middle of the night. That's the only appointment he could make, and so Santa's like, we need somebody to be brave and go and save the reindeer and therefore save Christmas. And Sugy volunteers, and all of his friends dunk on him like so bad. They're like, yeah, but you screwed up the whole gingerbread making competition. And Sugy goes on this like long diatribe of how caramel is better than sugar anyway, so it's not his fault that he caught the sugar factory on fire.
He's so fucking right. Right off the bat, really I like Sugy because he's literally like it turns out the quote unquote incident was, yeah, they're making gingerbread houses, and he was convinced that all the sugar needed to be caramelized. And in so doing, in trying to caramelize the sugar, he burned down the factory or something. But he's like, caramels. I thought I took a screenshot, but I guess I did, but it didn't. You know what I mean? It didn't. All the text wasn't on the screen. But anyway, he's like, caramel's more tasty. Why do you think there's so many caramel candies everywhere in all the stores? It's caramel this, caramel that. That's because it's fucking better than sugar. And then yeah, that's it. And also, he keeps talking about birches.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
It's like, I'm bundling birches. He goes, he says that he's more than just manufacturing birches. So respect for Sugy.
Yeah. Don't know what it means. It's probably some German Christmas tradition of some sort. Or mistranslation.
Santa, do you ever actually open the menu in this game?
I never did.
Oh, this is very important. If you open the menu, there's a few different options. There's like settings, exit, something, I forget what the other one is, and then the first one is Gegenstände. You click on it, and it's clearly like inventory. Yeah. But like, for some reason, they didn't translate it.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, what the heck is Gegenstände? And I don't know how that's pronounced correctly at all. I'm just doing a fake German thing. But yeah, and you see that you have skates, candy cane, caramel bonbons, chocolate, and a hanky.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that's important later.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was just random when you because you give those items to people later, and I just thought...
Yeah, later you give someone a shit ton of candy out of nowhere, and it turns out that was, in fact, in your inventory.
Oh, nice. So Santa agrees, and he sends us off with Rudolph, and he says, go and grant the wishes of the children of the countryside to save Christmas, and we don't do that. That's not what we do.
We don't do that at all.
We go and we save all the reindeer.
In fact, in one instance, we do the exact opposite of that. We do something that is bad for the children, but we feel like it's better in the long run because we get the reindeer.
Yeah. So we talk to all the elves in the North Pole to get leads, which basically just means teleport to a different place. And the first one I went to was Greenland. And basically this game is 8 puzzles, and that's it.
Yeah. Which one was Greenland? We did a different order, so
yeah, it was the penguin counting puzzle.
Oh, okay, that one was first for me. Yeah, okay, that one's like right there.
Yeah, and so you go to Greenland, and there's a bunch of igloos and a snowman. You talk to the snowman, and he's like, "Look, I'm trying to just feed these penguins, but they're really, really persnickety about who is like dishonored or whatever if you slight them. So I need to make sure that the house with the most penguins gets the most food so that it's fair for everyone. So I need you to count these penguins as they come out to feed them. And Sugi's like, well, why would I help you? And he's like, I'll give you the reindeer. And you're like, okay, cool. And this puzzle was actually like hard. I just guessed because it's a 1 in 3 chance and I got it right. But I was like keeping track like as it was going along. Yep. And then you easily lose track because instead of it just being like fast, they go one by one. But like they don't always... Like the waves go out together, but there's not always one in each wave, and it's not ever symmetrical. So it's like actually difficult to keep up with.
It's pretty cute, yeah. To put a little more context, so there's 3 igloos, and there's a little pool of water in the middle, and literally the penguins just start streaming out of this thing. I don't know how there are that many penguins in this little pool of water. But they're just pouring out in 3 lines, like ants, like one line going to each igloo. But the lines aren't always... coming at the same rate, right? Sometimes one of the lines will have more penguins, sometimes other lines have more penguins. So you're counting them up, and it's hard AF. Yeah. I should clarify. I unfortunately, due to some bullshit, was not able to play this game. I had to watch a variety of different videos to keep up. At the end, I will go ahead and shout out one of the Let's Plays that I watched some of because it was actually really good. I'd never heard of it. It was just these 2 random Let's Play guys. Usually that's bad news. But I liked it, so I'm gonna give a shout out to them later.
And we'll drop their link in the show notes. And stuff.
Yeah, there's basically there's one English Let's Play, there's one English Twitch stream that has been recorded, but there's no game audio for that one. And then there's a couple of German ones, and I kind of jumped around. And it's a shame, because I would have liked to play this game. Parts of it seemed like they were pretty fun. But this part I was able to play, because I was just counting up the penguins.
Yeah.
Right? Like myself. And at the end, I guessed my own opinion, which one it was, and I was right. So, even though I was not literally playing this game, I actually did win this puzzle. So go game.
I'm proud of you. But, so after that one, you get the reindeer, and that's pretty much it. But you're done with Greenland. We're probably not going to be able to talk about a lot of these, because you kind of show up, and he's just like, I'll give you a reindeer if you do this esoteric puzzle. And you're like, okay.
We'll blast through them.
So, then I went to Spain for a memory puzzle, and it's literally just a 5x4 grid of memory, and there's no you don't have you have infinite tries, so you just keep going until you get it. Also, one of the reindeer is named Runa the reindeer, and I'm like, but that's not one of them. Wait, are these not the 8 reindeer? These are just some 8 reindeer?
Well, I don't know if the others have names, actually. I just know that when you rescue one of them, the girl Runa, first of all, her name's Runa, and she says, Runa the reindeer has arrived at home. You're a hero, Sugy. And I'm like, I have a lot of questions. I'm just like, that's not one of them. But one of them's Rudolph. Maybe it's like a Shamu situation, you know?
Yeah, maybe so. But, so then we also go to the Alps for a snowball fighting, snowball dodging puzzle. There's a fighting puzzle later, but the dodging puzzle was really freaking hard because the controls stink and the snowballs move too fast. So
they come from the top of the screen. You don't have a lot of time to react to them.
Yeah, because you get there and the snowman's like, oh hey, you can't get this reindeer from me. I'm going to cause an avalanche, and so you're dodging an avalanche is what's going on. And
God, imagine if Eli had played this.
Eli would have the game only is like an hour and a half long. He would have taken like 6 hours and been mad the whole time.
Yeah, me and Eli are on opposite ends of the spectrum. I have an endless patience for just badly designed, ill-conceived, doesn't control very well horse shit. Endless patience, and I even enjoy it to a degree. I just get frustrated. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it this time. And whereas Eli is like, no, this is stupid, and I hate it. I'm sorry to continue.
Maybe more correct, but
it's fine. More power to him. I do want to briefly back up one because the Spain one has a little bit more going on. The Spain one is the one I was mentioning earlier, where so why is there a matching game? Well, here's the thing: all these snowmen are total sweeties.
Mhm.
Like, they're the bad guys, but they're sweeties. Also, they give you the reindeer for, like, nothing. They're like, this is our big operation. It's a big deal. And you're like, hey, what if I do one puzzle? And they're like, okay, you can have the reindeer. In this case, Ulf is like, the children would love to sled, but as you see, we don't have any snow. To keep them happy, I prepared this memory game. So literally, he makes a mini game so that the kids won't be sad.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
then here's the thing. They say that the winner wins a reindeer, and Sugy is like, all these kids would love to win a reindeer, and the game is made for the kids, to make the kids happy. And if I play the game, then the kids will be sad. But I need that fucking reindeer. That's literally what he says.
Yeah,
So,
he's like, Christmas for billions of people is more important than
but then at the end, all that candy that Loki was in his inventory all along, he says, well, I won the memory game, thus ruining the kids' fun, because now they see the solution. But here, have a bunch of candy, give it to the kids.
Yeah.
So, it's good stuff.
It's good stuff. But, yeah, then the next place we go to is Tyrol, which I don't know if it's a real place. I didn't recognize it. All these others are like big
I
name
googled
places.
it. It's a real place in some country. I already forget what country it is. Some Eastern European country has a city or region called Tyrol. It's where the Tyrol Corporation is located. Obviously,
okay.
Haven't you seen Blade Runner?
Yeah, that makes sense. But there, the snowman is afraid of flowers, and in this location, it's temperate, so the flowers are already blooming, and so he's like hiding away in a corner of the field, like horrified of all the flowers. And so he asks us to basically play whack-a-mole with these flowers. Yep. He says that he's afraid of the flowers because spring means that it's almost summer, and summer is not a nice place for snowmen. And this, like starting from here, this tends to be like the main like drive for all of the snowmen is they don't hate Christmas. They just know that Christmas means New Year's, means Easter, means spring, means summer.
Yeah, it's of course they end up explaining the plot at the end, but before they explain it, it's actually nice and subtle. You just pick up, you're like, wait, this is a recurring theme. Like, these snowmen are literally all just terrified of spring because they're gonna melt and die, and they just want to not die. When you're in Spain again and you say bye, he says, have a safe journey, goodbye, we won't meet again. The warm wind bears witness to my coming farewell. But just all of them are like that. They're like, I really don't want to die, but okay, here's the reindeer, and you're like, cool, bye.
Gonna go bring about your death.
Extremely, darn it, what's his name? Seriously? I'm gonna make another Blade Runner reference, apparently. Extremely the bad guy from Blade Runner voice. I want more life! That's all I want for Christmas, is to not die. Anyway, where else do we go here?
So then we head to Denmark, where the snowman is literally like old man yells at clouds, but he's throwing snowballs at woodland creatures.
Oh yeah,
and he's like,
woodland creatures are a symbol of spring, so I just hate them.
Yeah, and so we hit him back with snowballs. I have several things in the memorable moments from this guy because he's great. He's great. He's erudite in his hatred of woodland creatures. But then the last place we go to is in Germany, and it's actually really beautiful. Like, it is some of the best like RPG Maker graphics I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, like the rest of these areas are mostly just like fields that have snow and trees in them, and like, you've played RPG Maker games, you know, a lot of the areas are somewhat open fields with some objects placed in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this German city, it's dense. They put lots of effort into the tile work. There's all these nice little... Oops, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my phone did a thing. It's got all these nice little stalls with vendors. It's got a little castle, like a brickwork castle in the background that you don't get to go into, sadly. There's all these nice little lighting effects. Yeah, it was so cool.
It was really, really pretty. So because they're having this street festival, there isn't any room for a Christmas tree. So a local artist drew one in mosaic, but then of course the snowman scrambles it all up. But he did it by like not looking where he was going and tripping over it, and he tried to put it back together, but it's in the wrong order. So we have to do a slide puzzle to solve it. And this one took me a while. Like I'm okay at slide puzzles, but for some reason this one was just like annoying me and took me a long time. But afterwards, we of course get our reindeer, and this snowman is like, hey, it was Hakan's idea. He's the most generic looking bad guy one from the very beginning. He's like, it was his idea. We really just want to live. He's the one that wants the eternal winter or whatever. And so after doing all the others, what's her name? It's Arwen. Yeah, so Arwen is the last person, and only after you've gotten the other 7 will Arwen let you do the last one, which of course is where Hakan is. And he's in Hungary. And wait, no, we're not to Hakan yet. There's one more. Hakan is in Sweden. There's one more before that. I skipped this one on accident.
Oh yeah, we missed one somewhere along the line.
In Hungary, this one is where our reindeer is waiting on an island in the middle.
Yeah,
and the girl snowman, her name is like Svanti, but it's a lot of consonants that don't cooperate with my English speaking tongue, and there's no way I'm pronouncing that right. But you can tell that she's female because she has eyelashes and boobs. So she comes to taunt us on the island in the middle. It's like, you can't get me, and so we skate, but it's like a Pokemon ice puzzle type thing to get across, and it was decently easy to get across. It was somehow really hard to get back. Like typically in these sort of puzzles, there's only like one square where you can get to your goal, but like 15 squares where you can get get out.
Because it's like, you're done. Now you just go the easy way back. Yeah.
Yeah, but this one, there was only one way out.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was low-key really upset to not being able to play this because, sliding on ice until you hit something, puzzle, is actually one of my favorite stock puzzles. It can be very boring, it can be very rote, but it can also be really good, especially if you get to, like, adjust the field itself, like, by, like, pushing something here or there. Undertale had a really good one.
Yeah, Articuno's I love because it's, like, almost solvable until you find the rock that you drop down to actually make it solvable, and so you get close,
that's a classic example of one. You're like, oh god, that's what I needed all along. Oh god, it's a great puzzle. I would play. Oh god, now I'm like, what if I made an entire RPG where
that was every dungeon?
But like somehow work it into the battle system, kind of like how Lufia is a roguelike, but then also a JRPG.
That's beautiful.
No one's gonna fucking want to play it, but I'm gonna make it. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, so when we get across, Svanti apologizes, and she is like, "Oh, you elves must really care about your reindeer. I thought that they were tools." And Sugy says something like, Christmas, loving everybody, something." So
there's gonna be some more of that later.
Yeah, and so then the last puzzle is in Sweden, and this is the one where Hakan is, and so Arwen sends us off to because I wrote, because like every time you talk to somebody, they're like, "Oh, I heard somebody grumbling about blah blah blah," and that's how you know that it's a snowman. And so this one for Hakan was like, he was someone overheard him grumbling about how boring the North Pole architecture is, and he likes it better because it's more colorful in Sweden. And I was like, all right, I'm sure that checks out. I haven't personally been to Sweden to know if it's colorful, but I can imagine the North Pole is utilitarian with Christmas lights. But yeah, so we head over to Sweden, and I hated this puzzle. Hated it so bad. Wanted it to completely.
It's so dumb. It's horse shit.
So it's a maze across the ice. Like in this lake, but the lake is water. The ice pops up just one square in front of you at a time. And so it's a maze getting through all of that, but you can't see in front of you to know where you are. And it also loops in on itself, and like we'll walk in the same location. You can get there a couple of times. Not like a closed loop, but it's like if there are three paths you can take, two of them may cross over in the same location, but not like to close the loop. It's just like, oh, this one will go up, up, over, over, and this one will just go over, over, up, up, but it's two different paths. So it's like hard to keep straight in your head, and you can't play it in front of you. So I was like almost falling asleep playing it, just like holding right, because that was the direction you needed to go, and just like over, down, up, etc., just trying to get through it, and it's way too long.
Yeah, but, and like this is also a stock puzzle type, but it's usually done like recent 3D Mario games love this one. 3D Land, 3D World do it, where it's like, but those are platformers, and also these sections don't go on nearly as long.
Yeah. This one wouldn't have been bad if, like, because there's a rest stop in the middle on an island. If that would have been the end of it, it would have been okay. But that's like a third of the way through it, and it's
oh my god, because like it's literally just trial and error, you know. Yeah. Whereas like again with Mario, it's trial and error, but also you're like dodging ghosts and stuff like that, so it's a little more exciting. Yeah, for the final, I do like that the final puzzle is quote unquote hard, and by that I mean long and frustrating, because it's good to have drama. And I'm sure that the creator of this game probably had to think a lot about what would be the best thing to do, and they probably just couldn't think of anything better. And I'm like, I can see the problem there, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so when we finally get to the other side, Hakan says that he wanted to stop Christmas, to stop New Year's, to stop Easter, to stop spring, to stop summer from coming. And Sugy's like, hey, time does all of that, not Christmas. So
so
you're
Hakan
going to die anyways.
It's actually quite interesting. Hakan, like, again, he's a sympathetic hero. He's sad of his comrades always fucking dying and literally melting. And he says that one of them, it gets kind of dark. One of them like survived last year's summer, and he like, because he's from the north, and he melted a little bit though, and that's why he has like brain damage. And it's like one of the characters is jokingly like really stupid, but like he's got brain damage because of melting, so he just wants to save his comrades. And he's under the impression that humans have magic, and that holidays are what humans do to cause the seasons to advance. So if they can stop that, it'll save people. 100% sympathetic. Basically, Hakan did nothing wrong, is what I'm saying. All he did wrong was like not knowing how weather works. His motivations and his plan completely sensible given the information that he has.
And so Sugy, of course, has an idea, and he asks for Hakan to bring all of the snowmen to the North Pole with him, and because it's always Christmas on the North Pole, it's always snowing, and so you go back, and Santa thanks Sugy for saving Christmas, lets him work in the factory again, and all the snowmen get to live on the North Pole where it's always winter, and everyone is happily ever after, and you get a really cool Santa Claus takeoff scene done in RPG Maker, and that ends with him flying in the sky, and it says Merry Christmas and rolls the credits, and it's kind of great.
Yeah, it rules.
I think this game was on sale right now for like $1.50, and it was hella worth the $1.50. Yeah.
I am a firm believer that even silly things like this, like, it's $1, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think games like this inspired me, because I made a lot of games where I'm like, well, I enjoy this, but I'll release it for free because I wouldn't feel comfortable charging money for this, thing. This is a hobbyist with really crude, rudimentary graphics. It's like, wait, no, it's $1, okay? Like 1/5 of a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can, like, this thing, I put effort into it and I tried. Yeah, I'm not professional, whatever. So I'm definitely 100% on board with, like, basically any game that is made with care by a real, genuine person being worth $1.
Yeah. For sure. But, so memorable moments. One of my favorites is when he's going on his rant about caramel. He says, caramel is more tasty than normal sugar. Just ask the children.
Yes, just ask the children. That's what I tried to screenshot but couldn't get. One of mine, he has a a Christmas, monologue at the end, where Hakan's like basically saying Christmas is dumb because it causes them all to die, and it's not even worth it because all you do is make these stupid gifts that don't matter. And Sugi's like, he says a few things, but he's like, it's not about the gifts, it's about more than the gifts. And then he goes, I love this. He goes, happy families and children that take the time to be aware of how important it is to be at peace with one another. Christmas Eve is more than making gifts. The gifts are only symbols. And I'm like, hell yeah, go off, Sugi.
Right?
It's a fucking signifier, bitch. He gets hella philosophical. And he goes on for a few more about that. One funny thing is they keep talking about Christmas Eve. He's like, I'm gonna say Christmas Eve, and I'm like, and Christmas commonly is usually what we care more about. But from the elf's point of view, Christmas Eve is the big day, right? Because that's when they do their thing. He says Christmas Eve is about more than making gifts, which is, from his point of view, that's what Christmas is about, is giving the gifts to people, not receiving them, which I think is cute.
Our fanatic in the woods that's throwing snowballs at the animals, he goes, take that, evil long-eared creature, accursed worshiper of spring.
Yes. Oh man, and I totally lost my sympathy for Sugi, who I otherwise like as a character. When he's confronting Hakan at the end, he's like, you don't have any feelings and don't feel any love. Otherwise, you wouldn't do something so mean. And I'm like, he literally just explained how he's doing it to not die, dude. You don't feel any love. In
his defense, after Hakan's rebuttal after that, Sugi then does say, he's a fanatic, ! But somehow I can understand his fear. He doesn't want to melt.
And then also he's, again, giving his Christmas speech, and I love this. They decide to be inclusive here. He goes, the humans celebrate Christmas in various ways, and some don't even celebrate Christmas at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. I love how the writer was like, oh, I should put that in there.
Yeah, it actually, and like, in the moment, it didn't feel like pandering. It felt like the spirit of Christmas is for everybody, even if they, like, accept it and worship it or not or whatever. It was kind of, like, really, really sweet.
Yeah, no, it's
like the actual reasoning behind saying happy holidays is so that everybody feels happy and included, and not to say that Christmas is bad.
Yeah, exactly. God, people are so dumb. Also, at the end, he's like, hey, Sugi, you can come back to the factory now since you saved Christmas. And then someone's like, but if Sugi goes back to the factory, who's going to do the shitty job that no one wants to do of making coal and birches? And Santa's like, this task will be shared equitably between all Christmas elves. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's this game has a more of a socio-political message than a lot of video games. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And the fact that it's a short little puzzle game for children. Like he says, like on the Steam page, he's like, this is a game for kids. Like, I made it family friendly. I made there be no battles. I made all of the puzzles easy. I wanted you to sit down and play this game with your kids. And
which is really, really cute.
Still managed to throw in some socio-political stuff.
Yeah. And also some puzzles that, are maybe too hard for some kids, and also maybe if your kid hasn't figured out about death yet, then they shouldn't play this game.
Yeah.
This is a good way to introduce the concept, actually. Like, hey kid, you know how those snowmen melt at the end of winter? Well, that's you.
That's you.
And that's going to happen to all of us one day. Surprise! Death is a real thing. When do kids figure out about death?
I have no idea.
I certainly don't remember.
I don't remember mine.
Well, I don't think it's an instantaneous thing. It's not like all of a sudden you become aware. It's like it's a gradual process. You become more and more and more aware of the reality of the situation as you become older.
Yeah. One final thing is from that I wanted to share was from the very beginning of the game when they're kidnapping the reindeer. They get all the reindeer out, and then Hakan says, fall back and don't leave any carrots or cold buttons behind. Nobody shall find out who we are.
Oh yeah.
I think it's great. Instead of like dust for prints or anything like that, it's just like, don't leave carrots or cold buttons.
Speaking of that reminds me of, I didn't screenshot this. I have no idea why. Maybe I was just too engaged or something. But Hakan at the end is giving his monologue, and he's like, he's like, yeah, every year he's like the spring is going to come and we're all going to melt, and he's like, and all that will be left to tell the world that we were ever here is a pair of two black eyes on the ground, eyes that look at you and ask why. I'm like, holy shit, oh God, I just want to help you. You did absolutely nothing wrong. Also, I like how all the other snowmen don't seem to really understand what's going on, and they don't really care that much about keeping the reindeer, and they're just too nice, and so they're too nice to have self-preservation instincts. And B, I like how Hakan and nobody else talks in this like military general talk. Yeah. He's always like 10-4 9er acquire the munitions report, pet chief, and everyone's just like, cool.
It's great. But yeah, that about wraps it up. There's other like fun Christmassy bits throughout the whole game, and like I said, it's $1 for an hour of your time, and
the music kind of whips.
Yeah, it's just like MIDI versions of Christmas songs, but they're all good MIDI versions of Christmas.
The ones that aren't Christmas, there's a few that aren't Christmas songs, they're just songs, and those are just extremely generic RPG music shit. But the ones that are actually have a recognizable melody are pretty nice. I dug them. Let's make sure people know who made this game.
Yeah. I
believe they're called, I remember, it's the Game Alchemists.
Yeah, the Game Alchemists.
And also, the Let's Play that I watched some of, that was actually very, very good. I've never heard of these people. It was these people named Chad and Russ.
Yeah.
And they were doing Chad and Russmas. And, good job, fellas. And then was also some other ones I watched that I don't remember the names of, but there's like 5 on the entirety of YouTube, so if you search Sugy the Christmas Elf on YouTube, you'll see the same stuff I saw. If you're interested. And then, good job to the Game Alchemists for making a sweet ass game. And of course, all the people who most of the music was taken from other various composers, a lot of free stuff from various people in the community. So good job to all of those people as well.
It was really good. I'm looking to see if the devs have made anything else, because their intro was like really dope. Like,
that had a bomb ass intro too. Yeah. Oh, I do want to mention the bullshit. The game basically doesn't work on Mac right now.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't run. If you go to Steam, someone's saying, "Hey, the game doesn't run," and the guy's like, "Man, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened, but like right now, my Mac is like broken, so I don't know how I could possibly test this." And as a game developer who has had to test things on devices that she does not own, I get it. I'm like, yeah, like for me, like my game, how am I supposed to get that thing working on iPhone X? I don't have a fucking iPhone X, and the emulator doesn't work perfectly. Yeah. So anyway, don't buy it if you only have a Mac, even though it is cool.
They have this puzzle game that looks like a 3D version of. Do you remember Chips Challenge from Windows 95?
I love Chips Challenge from Windows 95.
Yeah, it looks like a 3D low poly like PS1 version of Chips Challenge.
Oh, hell yes.
Called Mummy on the Run. It looks awesome, and I kind of really want it.
That sounds dank AF.
Yeah, so go check out Sugy the Christmas Elf. Go check out Mummy on the Run. It's good. Everything is good. These people were great. But if you liked this Christmas episode, please tell us more Christmas-themed games with an actual story. You can send them over to us at rpgbookclub@gmail.com. We were going to do Parasite Eve, because just like Die Hard, it takes place on Christmas.
And it whips.
And it's really good, but that would require more than one episode and more than yesterday I was like, hey, Maddy, we should do a Christmas episode. Go play this game for an hour. And so,
to be fair, we did not actually half-ass this. We decided to play this like 2 weeks ago. But we also decided ages ago that we were not going to have time for Parasite Eve because of how busy our lives were. So maybe next year, though. Yeah,
maybe next year. And it also, it wasn't lost on me that, Square Roots did Parasite Eve recently. The Frame Savers did Parasite Eve recently. It's been everywhere, and it felt like we wouldn't like if I had anything new to say, it would probably get lost in the things that I'm like, oh well, on Square Roots they were talking about blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to
totally
distance it from the renaissance that Parasite Eve was just having. But,
Also, you know what? A small game like this, a small, simple little game like this, doesn't take an extremely long amount of time to make. If you're listening to this, you have 1 year. Yeah. Okay? Just like make a Christmas game. And I'm not even joking because the odds of this happening are so slim that it would be amazing if it actually happened. If you were listening to this and in the next year you make a Christmas game, I promise right the fuck now, we will play it next year for our Christmas game. Unless 2 people do it, in which case we'll have a problem. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll play both of it. That is my promise to you, except now I kind of want to make one too, so, oops.
But, yeah. So you can reach us at rpgbookclub@gmail.com, like I said, or on Twitter at rpgbookclub. Or you can reach out to us on our Discord, which has a link in the description. We also have a Patreon and a Spreadshirt if you like to throw us some ducats. But since this is the season of giving, you should go and buy Mummy on the Run it looks like that one's $8 on Steam. So you should help these guys out because this game is really, really good.
Yeah. Treat them and treat yourself.
Yeah. So next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled podcasting. We're gonna take some time off here in RPG Book Club land and spend time with family and not just play a lot of Legend of Dragoon.
Although it's also a punishment because it's like I want to play more Legend of Dragoon, but
yeah, that's it. But happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And enjoy the holiday, and hopefully, if you're off of work or school, enjoy that, and don't die. And if these holidays if these holiday times are difficult for you because of family shit, then good luck.
Yeah.
All right.
And we love you. Bye.
Yep. Toodaloo.